Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new locals feature match. Here we are in round 3 from the week of, what was it? The 3rd, Saturday the 3rd. This is from the locals before Niagara, week before Niagara. Which I believe the day this is getting uploaded, on the 11th, I will be streaming, kind of doing a recap of my YCS Niagara experience on my Twitch, link below. But here we have me on the left playing Rikka Sun Avalon versus a branded Tearlaments deck. Not a version you really see too much of, but I do respect it. I will lead with the unexpected die here, though, in game 1, which obviously is full combo. And without using a normal summon, very inexpensive combo that gets you a lot of cards, which is like one of the main reasons why I love playing the deck. My opponent does have Haveness, and it does whiff, but he does reveal a Lava Golem off that, so that kind of gives me a little bit of information, you know, knowing what I can expect and what board I should try to make. I mean, what board I try to make really doesn't make too big of a difference, mainly because I have Rivalry set. So that's just kind of giving me some information. Like, okay, he's main decking the Lava Golem. I probably should shotgun the Rivalry as soon as I get the chance. That way he cannot put that monster on my field, since it is a Fiend, I believe. Or it might be a Pyro, I can't remember. But yeah, classic Sun Avalon line here. Using the healer to gain 300, allowing Jasmine to search. And then using Jasmine's other effect to tribute a plant she points to summon a plant from the deck in defense. We're going to summon out the Rikka Petal, and then we'll use its effect to go ahead and either add a Rikka monster from our deck to hand or send a Rikka monster from our deck to the grave. We're going to go ahead and add a copy of Primula here. I believe in this video I was playing Carrot Weight. I've since been playing 2 Primula. I think like playing 2 Primula is really nice, but also playing 1 Carrot Weight, 1 Primula is also nice. The main reason I opted to like actually just switch off the Carrot Weight was because of the Dark Charmer and like Super Poly and things like that. And like the second Primula is just not bad at the end of the day. But we're gonna see me, you know, use the Snow Princess to, or well, use the Snowdrop to modify all levels, make them all level 4 since I had the Princess on field. We'll make the Strenna. Strenna will add back the Mudon, and then we'll special summon Mudon via its own effect since we summoned it off of the Snowdrop earlier. That'll allow us to tribute the Strenna. That'll trigger the Strenna to go ahead and bring out Hyperiton. Then we'll activate the field spell to go ahead and set. And then we're going to attach the unexpected die. And then we're going to use the, obviously, Con will resolve now to go ahead and set a Rikka spell or trap from our deck. And we are going to go ahead and summon out, well, not summon out, but set, rather, the Rikka Sheet, which is basically like a double removal card, because with the field spell up, we contribute one of their monsters as cost, and then we can take another monster they have until the end phase. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 with the field spell up. So really, really strong card. I'm going to set the Rivalry, and we're just going to pass there on a whole lot of interruptions, and then we're going to hit the draw phase Rivalry. Like I said, only reason I'm doing this is mainly because I saw the Lava Golem in his graveyard. So I was like, okay, this is something I probably want to preemptively try and stop. Otherwise, he just attributes over the Bengal Answer and the Hyperiton for the free. And yeah, I kind of lose out on a lot of advantage there. And also, if I were to control the Lava Golem, I would not be able to use Petal in the end phase, which is one of the big points of this deck's like follow-up. So I was kind of worried about that, so want to go ahead and flip it right away. And he already had an Aqua on board, so it kind of like is going to force him into like a certain line of play. And I was like, if he has the field spell, we have Hyperiton to stop it, to protect it. And then that's, I guess, the only way to like out this Rivalry this turn. But he does have Forbidden Droplet. And we're going to see him go ahead and send off the Haveness from field as cost. Just going to go ahead and read some of the cards on the field, because I think this might have been like his first time playing against the deck. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to see him send off a Rhino Heart, and he's going to go ahead and obviously negate the Hyperiton and the Bengal Answer. So in hand, he has Merly plus a Sharon. Then he goes Sharon effect, which this I honestly should have negated. I should have just Snow Princess negated this 100%. I don't really think there's a reason to let the Sharon walk. Because anything that he normal summons, I could just like... I mean, if he normal summons Merly, I guess I don't have a way to stop it. But if Merly goes through... Yeah, no, I don't have a way to stop the Merly. So I don't know if negating Sharon there was necessarily correct. But he is going to go ahead and resolve some effects of fusion right now. I'm also like... I guess I wasn't too afraid of it because, again, I had the rivalry up and he doesn't have access to field spell. So, like, the only thing he's making right now are just, like, Kit Kalos. It's, like, the only thing he can actually make. So, again, wasn't super worried about that. So, he's going to summon 2 Kit Kalos. He's going to use the 1 Kit Kalos effect here to go ahead and send. And I do opt to negate the one that he is activating to send or add a tier. And then we'll tribute it off the board and negate it. And again, it is being tributed for cost, so the effect of Mill 5 will not trigger. Then on resolution, I activate Rikka Sheet, tributing off the Bengalancer to go ahead and target the Kit Kalos to take until the end phase. I did not tribute my Strenna here, mainly because there's nothing good to tag into. Like, I could tag into Teardrop, but Teardrop is literally just an extender for Tearlament at the end of the day, especially like in a situation like this. Sure, I could like tag into a Teardrop and like protected my Hyperion by sending off his Sharon, and then he can fuse for whatever once the Sharon is off the board. So yeah, I decided just to get rid of the Bengalancer since it can bring itself back. End phase, I actually don't have a Petal Engrave, so I do just like pass without summoning the Petal. I believe the Petal is still underneath the Strenna that I have on field. And yeah, he's basically just going to go ahead and pass turn there once the Kit Kalos comes back. And then I'm going to start my turn by activating the Rikka Sheet. Well, not the Rikka Sheet, rather the Con to set Glamour. And Glamour here can be kind of clutch to go ahead and tribute 2. Well, tribute 1 to add 2. Apologize if I messed up a little bit. It's been a long day, to say the least. And it's just after 1:30 a.m. as I record this, but I want to get the noon uploads back on schedule for you guys. Been kind of slacking a little bit. But one thing that is not slacking is this Strenna that has managed to survive the turn. We're going to start by detaching and going to go ahead and target any Rikka card or plant monster in our graveyard to add it back to my hand. Was low-key debating about adding back the Hyperion, but I opted to go for the Snowdrop, which is a card, you know, that I've thought about several times, like playing 2 copies of, but the thought of drawing it without a plant in hand or like going second without a plant, really not that, you know, good of a thought. It's really not good. So I do think for consistency's sake, 1 is fine, but the second one does feel like it comes up sometimes. I do make a slight mistake here. I do trigger Primula off of tributing one of my opponent's monsters. Primula strictly says that you can only summon it if a monster you control is tributed. So even if you're using Con to tribute your opponent's monsters, you know, there's no magical way in which Primula can trigger off of that. But it doesn't make too big of a difference because I could have just triggered the Primula off of a different effect that I'm going to use later on. My opponent is going to also use Soliac here to negate Petal when I go to search with it. This is also going to help him get the Shaylin or the Sharon off of the board, so he's no longer Aqua locked. So we can go ahead and fusion for something else, which is going to be the Kaleido Heart. And Kaleido Heart is going to activate its effect on summon to attempt to shuffle back the Bengalancer. And in response, I will chain Bengalancer to target the Kaleido Heart to bounce it back to the hand. So I'll take 3,000 damage, but you know, a small price to pay to be able to get rid of that card. Now I'm going to use Glamour, tripping off the negated Petal to go ahead and search to. And this is where I would be able to summon the Primula right now. So nothing else would have changed. I don't know why I triggered Primula there or thought I could. Just probably slipped my mind. Tends to happen from time to time. But now we're going to go ahead and special summon out the Princess. And you see I had the Carrot Weight. I'm not currently playing Carrot Weight. It's a really nice card, but I always find myself going back and forth on the one Primula and the one Carrot Weight, or just cutting the Carrot Weight for a second Primula. They both have their ups and downs, and right now I'm still not entirely sure what my ratios will be on those cards moving forward after the YCS. Here I do misplay. I mean, it's not really a misplay. I still accomplish what I want to accomplish, but I just do it in a very unoptimal way. Here you see me activate sewing to go ahead and bring out a loci. And then I go through a whole bunch of nonsense here to try to go for game when I just didn't realize all I needed to do was just use the carrot weight engrave to send off the loci I had just brought out off of the sewing. And that would have been 19 plus 2000 plus 28 plus 18. And that right there would have been game. But instead I decided to jump through extra hoops, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we are into a game 2 situation. But you know, you gotta live and learn, right? Game 2 situation here. Rikka up 1-0. Guys, don't forget to check out Imperium Duelist if you want to support the channel by getting some amazing playmats like the one you see me using. Or sleeves, or deck boxes, dice. Check them out at the link below. And don't forget to use my discount code WinterKillsTonOp at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. So we're going to see the Tier Despia deck decide to go first here in Game 2 as is expected. We're going to see him lead with Terraforming for Pearl of Rhino. To go, I believe it was a Sheeran or a Rhino Heart there. And then we're going to see him use the Foolish Burial Goods, not a card you see too often here, played in Tier. But, you know, I guess it technically can be kind of Rhoda with Soliak. So we'll see the Soliak go ahead and add the Reinhardt's. He must have added Sheeran off the field spell. Thought it was one of the two. And then we're going to see him activate Opening, discarding Sheeran. Now, Opening does discard for effect, so we're going to see him activate Sheeran as Chainlink 2 and the Aluber as Chainlink 1. We'll see him get to Fusion and then search the Branded Fusion off of the Aluber. And then we're going to see him go for a Masquerade the Blazing Dragon, which is kind of scary. Because my deck, you know, it can definitely out a card like Masquerade. But, you know, if I want to, like, try to establish a good field, like, and not make an awkward line to out it first, I am probably going to take a lot of damage. But, I mean, I can definitely out it with my engine, so that's not super scary. We will see the Rhino Heart now allow him to go into a Kit Kalos, and Kit Kalos effect will trigger to go ahead and add a copy of Soliak. So searching a interruption for my turn, and also an opportunity to mill 5. We're going to see him use the Branded Fusion now, dumping Albaz and Beast, which has me thinking, you know, he's playing Winda in the extra deck, which is just going to make this even more of a pain in the ass to try to get through. And, like, I always, like, you know, because I've seen a lot of, like, Tearlament profiles and, like, Danger Tier profiles over the past couple weeks as the deck has evolved, you know, topping several events, national events, you know, YCSs, etc., etc. You see things like Winda and stuff get phased out of these decks a lot, and then, you know, you happen to run into somebody playing the Winda package still, and you're just like, man, people are still playing this, like, I don't, like, think it's that overly good. I don't think it's better than, like, what is currently played in the deck. It's just, like, one of those things that they kind of just end up not getting punished for playing, and it just ends up panning out for them, that they just get to make a free Winda and just, like, win off the back of Winda, which is, like, really infuriating. To be fair here, like, I don't think it's the Winda that, I mean, the Winda definitely doesn't help. My ability to try to play through this board definitely does not help, but you'll see. So we're going to see him use the Soliak here, send off the Kit Kalos to go ahead and negate the Dryas, which is like, okay, fair enough, negating Dryas, that's fine. Joke's on you, I already opened Twin, so I don't need that other effect to resolve. And he's going to go ahead and fusion into a Dragostapelia now, so still have to worry about a Mirror Jade, still have to worry about this Masquerade, and now a Dragostapelia on top of that. We're going to normal summon the Twin, trigger its effect to go ahead and try to revive that Loci in the graveyard. Since I have a Sun Avalon Link, he is going to go ahead and negate that with the Dragostapelia. Right now is a time where I wish I had a copy of Talents, so I could do something, you know, like a non-engine card to try to help crack the field. But I still know I have to try to play through at least this Mirror Jade right now, and I'm trying to get him to use the Mirror Jade by any means possible, but not budging. And there still is one set, and I'm hoping this Mudon can at least resolve here. He is going to go ahead and chain a Havness, Like, please don't hit a name. Please don't hit a name. Hits two. Well, hits one name, but 2 copies of it. And it is going to be the Shiren. And this is like perfect opportunity, I guess. He is going to go ahead and fusion with the Shiren and the Beast. And he is going to go ahead and try to make a Winda play here. And, I mean, this is an example of, like, just how not fantastic Winda is, I guess. Just because of this simple interaction right here. Very easily outed. Now, this is not always the case. I got lucky in this situation where, like, I was able to, like, resolve Mudan to even get to the field spell to out the Winda. But, I don't know. I just... Anytime Winda becomes popular and it's, like, in the meta, I just have always hated that card. Like, Floodgate like, accessible Floodgate extra deck monsters are just the worst. I don't know. That's just my thought. Like, things like Calamities, Shrieking of all Calamities, Nightmare card. Winda, another Nightmare card. Just, like... I'd rather deal with the Masquerade, right? You could say Masquerade is like kind of like a Floodgate, but not necessarily in the same terms as something like Winda. But I am lucky here in the fact that I was able to like he got the Winda on field as I was like getting access to Con. Otherwise, I would have been, I don't think I would have been outing that with the cards available. So we're gonna summon out Princess here, and then we're gonna link the Princess and the Dryas into a link to. I was debating here, like, do I go for a Dance Peon? To try to hit into another body here to kind of like keep Link climbing. I still need to force out this Mirror Jade. I still need to force out whatever the set back row is. Because the set back row is going to be like a determining factor whether or not I can even try to push through this board. I've been pushing through a lot of stuff, remarkably so with just Engine. I think my opponent could have played a lot better to try to just like not have to use so many interruptions, because I just don't think there's any world where I should have just gotten as far as I am. And the other set ends up being a Forbidden Droplet, and he sends off the Havness to negate the Dance Peon. I'm like, alright, there's still a Mirror Jade live. I just don't see a way I get through this. I just don't see it. I maybe could have summoned that Primula there, and then like gone for Melius, and then like negated the Mirror Jade eventually, because he definitely would have Mirror Jaded. But I think I'm just left with like a Bengal Lancer, and I don't think I beat his follow-up with just Bengal Lancer on field. So we just go to a game 3 situation here. I normal summon Petal. Petal's going to go ahead and search. I believe it was a Snowdrop. We're going to activate Con to set a Glamour. And opening a lot of Rikka cards going first always feels really nice. Going second, it does not feel nice, because they can break boards, but only if you see the field spell. So we're going to go ahead and activate Glamour, and I'm opting to not Tribute here, as to not play super hard into something like an Ash. So now we're going to go ahead and, after searching the Princess, activate Snowdrop to go ahead and special summon itself and a Mudan. Mudan effect will go ahead and trigger here to add a copy of Sheet. Now, whenever I can, I like to set Glamour off of Con and search Sheet another way. I don't like... I mean, like, in the standard combo, you end up doing it anyways, but, like, it is what it is in that situation. But if I can help it, I like to search the Sheet off of something like Mudan, only because that way my opponent doesn't know exactly where it's set. So I'm adding back this Glamour off of the Strenna, so I can bluff set it, and my opponent now doesn't know the exact location of the Sheet. So if you have something like Galaxy Cyclone, right, it's not an easy snipe for them. Also, you can see that copy of Triple T in my hand, you know, coming in clutch to do absolutely nothing. Triple T is such like a polarizing card for me right now, because it seems so bad against Tearlament, but it seems so good against Sprite, as that deck still plays like a lot of hand traps, but like the Tear Sprite decks don't play any hand traps. So it's just like, is it a card that you play? Is it a card you don't play that many copies of? Do you side it? I don't know. The card does go in sometimes, but other times it doesn't do anything. So my opponent here is going to lead with Instant Fusion. He's going to activate Kikalos effect. I am going to negate it by tributing the Kikalos as cost, not for effect. And I wanted to go ahead and negate that specifically by tributing off the Kikalos, is so that he could not use the on-field effect to go ahead and bring something else out, and also mill 5. But again, I don't know necessarily what I was worried about there. He would have been locked into Aquas. So, yeah, because the only tier he could have brought out would either been a Warrior or another Aqua, and at that point he can't fuse into anything. Yeah, so I don't know necessarily why I decided to do that. I'm just underestimating the power of my own rivalry. He is going to follow up with Branded Fusion, but okay. I know Mirror Jade is a worm for some reason. And the other two branded dragons are not worms, they are dragons. So, trying to understand exactly where this Branded Fusion is going to go. I think it ends up having to be for like Lubellion into Alba Lenitus, which sounds really bad, and that's because it is really bad. So my opponent is going to take a time to think about this. He's going to end up fusing like double Albaz, and he's going to go ahead and go into the Lubellion, and then he's going to use the Lubellion effect, and he does not discard. This is an interesting development. So no discard for the Lubellion. And to go into the Alba Lenitus. Sometimes I play nice, sometimes I do not. Discards for cost, so it's not like it would have triggered a tier or anything. And even if it did trigger a tier, couldn't fuse in anything except for dragons. He's going to go into battle phase to attempt to swing over the Strenna. I do sheet tribute to take. And now this is a ruling I'm not 100% sure on. Is that if you have rivalry already face up, can sheet take something since it becomes a plant, or does it just get sent off the field because of the rivalry? I had a ruling like that ruled at the YCS where my opponent flipped Gozen up as Chainlink 2 in response to the sheet, and the judge ruled it that the sheet would still take after the Gozen resolved as the last thing in the chain, but I would just send off whatever attribute that I was not keeping in case it was a Drytron monster and I was keeping a Hyperiton. So I would assume I'd either keep it and would stay because it becomes a plant, or I would keep it and just send it since it is not a plant. But, you know, surprise, surprise, my opponent can't do anything else there. Petal is going to come back in the end phase, and then we're going to start my turn by, you know, Mudon, tribute over the Lubellion, and we're going to go ahead and search a Rikka spell or trap. We're going to grab that copy of Tranquility. Again, playing a bit of a bigger Rikka engine for this locals. I don't know exactly if I'll keep doing something like that. I don't think it's necessary. I do like the utility of all the extra Rikka cards. It does feel nice, but I just feel like it's not necessarily needed because I should just be able to go for game here, and having the Tranquility is not going to matter in the slightest. We're going to go ahead and overlay into Strenna, and then we're going to use Strenna to go ahead and grab back the sheet anyways, so we have that for follow-up because that card is cracked. And then we're going to go ahead and link into Dryas just to get the Petal off the field, just in case we can't go for game for whatever reason, and you know, just play it a little bit safe. And I wanted to make sure I had game here before I use the Teardrop effect. We'll tribute off the Alba Lenitus, triggering the effect of Teardrop to gain 200 attack. Then we'll swing him for 3k, 2k, and 26. 7,600, he's at 700 or 7,000 because he paid for instant fusion. So that is the match. Rikka taking it 2-1. And last but not least, a huge thank you goes to our Divine Level channel members who are Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Justin Lamb, HG8 Cyber, and Mango. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and generous support of the channel.